Hi, this is Cathy Goodwin, and today we're going to talk about a topic that I've been asked to talk about by someone who had a very specific question. How do I deal with a gap in my resume? Well, did you take time off for a family? Maybe you had a baby or you went on a special family obligation. Did you have a special experience like a vacation or a once-in-a-lifetime trip? Maybe you quit a job or you lost a job, and it took you longer than you expected to get a new job. So now you have a gap. And your interviewer is now sitting in front of you saying, what's this 12-month gap I see? Or even a 6-month gap or a 3-month gap? Well, I'm going to recommend 4 ways to deal with that question. Number 1 is to fill the gap. Ideally, you prepare for this ahead of time, but you can do it retroactively. What will you do while you're away? Well, you can start a blog or a newsletter so you keep your friends and colleagues informed of what you're doing. So when you come back, hey, there's really not much of a gap. They've been with you the whole time. You can gain new experience that will add value, and you can work on ways to show that this new experience will make you even more valuable than you were before. You can build a new accomplishment that you can use, such as writing a book or starting a business. You can even leverage the gap. You can create a temporary venture or blog that you can use afterwards to build an entirely new foundation for your next career. For example, Betsy and Warren Talbot went on a trip around the world, and they ended up with the website marriedwithluggage.com. They originally started a blog just to keep their friends and family posted on what they were doing, but in fact, that ended up a whole new business. They were able to live overseas in Thailand and Spain. They have a whole new way of life. They now have an empire based on helping other people who want to take a break from their jobs and start a new way of living. Solution number 2 is to avoid the question altogether. So what this means is you get in front of high-level interviewers through networking and contacts. So you're never faced with an HR person who's got a form to fill out or a lower-level manager who doesn't know how to ask you questions. When you meet someone, you are there because they're interested in who you are and what you can do. You already have a foot in the door. And yes, you probably have to deal with HR at some point, but hopefully by then the deal is sealed. Solution 3 is to gain momentum during the break. You position yourself as starting over. You do something entrepreneurial or take a perch or a bridge job so you have something going forward. A perch job is, if you think of birds perching on a wire when they're migrating, that's what you're doing. You're just finding a temporary place to land where you can stop for a very short time. It doesn't have to be related to anything you do. So if you're an accountant, you get a job walking dogs. That's a perch job. On the other hand, a bridge job means that you take a job that will eventually lead you to where you want to be. So let's say you're that same accountant, you get a job walking dogs. That might be a job you would choose if you want to maybe work for a company that does something with animals, such as a veterinary practice, or maybe you want to become an accountant for a pet food company, or you want to work for a nonprofit rescue. The same job can be a perch job or a bridge job or an end job, depending on how you make your choices. What's nice about jobs when you gain momentum during the gap is you get to tell the interviewer, I'm working. You're not the first person taking a chance on me. I'm not unemployed. I'm working. Solution number 4 is to spin your story. Show how your experience contributes to your ideal position. You have to make the connection obvious, and this is from a book by Dory Clark called Reinventing You. She tells the story of a helicopter pilot in the U.S. Army, a West Point graduate who wanted to be a finance manager in a Fortune 500 company. So she was able to talk about her management experience, dealing with millions of dollars in her budget, and she was able to present herself not as a helicopter pilot, but as someone who had the skills and experience to be a finance manager. It's important to spin with integrity. You have to be straightforward because false statements can disqualify you. If you'd like to get a copy of these slides, you can download them right here, and you can get a PDF version of these slides for reference. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, you can go to my website, midlifecareerstrategy.com, and I have a consultation, a career strategy session. You can go to this page and sign up, and I would be happy to work with you as we can talk about the gap. If you're planning to have a gap in your resume, you're planning to take time off, you know you're going to have to take time off, or maybe you're coming off a time off situation and you want to plan for the very best future you can possibly have. Thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you on a future video.